Many of you think love is impossible. You think after that divorce or that you work someplace and that you'll never be able to find love. And well, for me, my personal story is I was 28 years old and I had finished college and I had started working, and my father asked me to please come back to the American Virgin Islands. Now, mind you, I had grown up in the Virgin Islands, and the whole overtone of growing up in the Virgin Islands is to make a success of yourself. You have to go out into the world and succeed. So the whole concept of going back to this small island, 24 by 6, was, why would I go there? And I'll never meet a man there, for sure. That island's too small, and most of the people there, that stay there aren't the successful ones, because I've been told the successful ones leave. So my father said, I had gotten my real estate license in New Orleans, Louisiana, and my father had asked me, why don't you come back to St. Croix? And I said, Dad, I just bought a brand new car. He said, I'll ship it. I said, Dad, I just bought a house full of furniture. He said, sell it. I really had run out of excuses. So I decided to pack up and move back to the Virgin Islands, and fortunately at that time real estate was just crazy. It was so busy. It was about 1985, and people were throwing me credit cards. I'll take two. Dad, how do you use a credit card machine to put two condominiums on? And I was just having the time of my life selling real estate in the Virgin Islands, the youngest, most successful real estate agent on the island. And I just remember it being very fun. That I had forgotten about looking for a man. I really did. So one day I had this lady come into my office. Her name was Carol, and Carol Wheaton, actually. And she'd come in my office, and she wanted to see real estate. So that day, I took her all over the island. I did not mention if I had a husband or a boyfriend. I was 28. Wasn't thinking about relationships. And that night, she had met my husband at a cocktail party. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, the idea of writing it down works. My list was very clear, very concise. It was a man that doesn't drink, a man that's very social, a man that doesn't need me, a man that gets along in any situation, very adaptable. No, girls, it wasn't, I hope he's tall, dark, and handsome and rich. No, it wasn't at all. So this lady, I took her out all day, and that night she met my husband at a cocktail party in the resort. Since he was the tennis pro at the resort, his job was to go to the cocktail party to round up prospective tennis students. So the next day she came to me. She told me that he'd been complaining. He was 32 years old. He had just been transferred to St. Croix, and he just said, oh my gosh, all the girls here, they're so wild. All they want to do is get drunk. And she said, I met a very lovely young lady today. So that next day, I went to her resort, and she was signing a $600,000 contract for real estate. So, she's very chatty, she's very talkative, she's very excited about this new match that she's made. And she said, oh, we met this lovely young gentleman today. We'd love for you to meet him. And I wasn't really listening. I just kept pushing the contract under the pen, couldn't wait for her to sign. After she signed, I started to get more friendly. She said, don't move, don't leave. He's coming to meet you. We told him all about you, and he's coming over here to meet you. So I chatted for a little while, and he never came. So when I got back to my office, I was as high as a kite. I was so happy. I was like, I got this contract, Dad, look at my contract. And I sat at my desk, and I thought, hey, that guy stood me up. I'm going to give him a call and give him a piece of my mind. So I called him up, and I said, hey, left him a message. It said, hey, I hear you're the man for me. Why'd you stand me up? Within 20 minutes, he was at my office, and I had this cute little outdoor office so he could stand outside, and I waved, and I was really just in shock with how handsome he was. He was the tennis pro at the resort. So I was like, wow. And he stood around the corner, and when I closed the door, very casually, he said, hey, you want to come play tennis? And I didn't know if it was a date, if it was just, he asked everybody, do you want to play tennis? I had not picked up a racket in 10 years. I said, see you tomorrow. So I go up there with a friend, Stephanie, and we're walking, and she's like, where's the tennis court? Frederick said it was a long walk from the parking lot, and we get up there, and everything was great shot, good job, you're fabulous. I was like, yeah, what a line. So when we got to his car, he said, hey, would you like to have a drink? I said, sure. We went to have a drink, and I ordered a Perrier, and he looked at me, he was shocked, and he said, you don't drink? I've been looking for a girl that doesn't drink. And I was just frozen because I knew that was something on my list that would be very hard to find on an island where rum is 99 cents a bottle, and we washed our windows with rum. Well, from that point on, I kept checking my list, and he had every single one of the qualities that I had requested less than 10 days earlier. And so it really is true. Make your list, check it twice. Do not compromise, do not settle. The right spouse, mate, person for you is there.